Hey, this is OXDF. We're doing the 2015 Advent of Code, Day 10, Elf looks, Elves say. We're doing it in Rust. We're learning Rust, so let's take a look. The prompt here is basically they're playing a game called Look and Say. And so the whole idea is you start with the string 211, and you would then say that's 1, 2, 2 ones. So then that becomes 1, 2, 2 ones. So let's say there's some other examples down here. This becomes 1, 1. This becomes 2 ones. Or 2, 1. This becomes 1, 1, 1, 2, 2 ones. 3, 1. That's the three ones turn into that. 2 twos, so that turns into 22. 1, 1 turns into 1, 1. So my puzzle input down here is this string right here. If you're just joining me for the first time, I solved a bunch of these challenges years ago in Python, but we're going back and doing them in Rust to learn Rust. So that's why it shows them already solved. But that's the puzzle input, so we just have to start working on it. Strategy-wise, it's kind of funny. I remember solving this problem in Python and thinking this was going to be a huge pain to implement, and then discovering the Itertools group by function. And so I started off by doing a search for Rust group by like Python or something, and I came across this issue on the actually on the Rust Itertools GitHub with this guy complaining about the group by function. And if we come down here, this one right here, I think was pretty good. It groups consecutive runs just like Python's Itertools group by, so there's some precedent. So I think this is a weird function. I can't really picture real uses for it. I do have the documentation here. And basically what we're going to do is, they've got this vector here, they're looping over it. And so group by, it takes in, this is kind of the shorthand for a function. So you're going to have this, the input is going to be the item itself, and they call it ELT here. And then, so they are returning a key of ELT is greater than 0. And so you can see down here, the 1 returns a true, the 3 returns a true, the -2 returns false, -2 returns false, true, 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 true. And so what you get out of that is a bunch of vectors. You get a vector that's 1, 3, because they're the same. Then it changes from true to false. So now you have -2, -2, and then now we change back to true, and so you get these 4 together. And so it's kind of exactly what we want. And instead of saying some value is greater than 0, we're just going to say that value is the key. And so that way, if this is if these two values are the same, they'll have the same key. And as soon as they're different, they'll get into a new group. So it's going to work out really nicely for us here. Let's go ahead and jump over to VS Code. I'm going to use my Genday script. I went over exactly how I showed this in full in my day 0 video, but it basically pulls down input.txt for us. It also creates a main here with just a really nice, really basic template that reads us in the input and gives us some place to print the output. I'm going to go ahead right away because I know with these ones where you have a single line, I'm going to add trim so I don't have to deal with any new line characters on the end of it causing me trouble. And really, we just need to start working on our group by. So let's use Itertools, and this brings in the Itertools functions for us. And now we are going to, let's start trying to see if we can make this apply to our string. So we're going to say we'll say key comma group in data, I guess, dot chars, because we're going to break it into characters. And then we're going to call group by, I guess with an underscore. And now, what are we going to pass in? So it's going to take some value. I guess we'll call it C for character, and the key is going to be that character, and that's it. And so now we can do. Let's see. We'll say let num equals group.collect. So we're going to take all those things and turn them into a vector. Let's see. What is group right here? Let's save. Oh, we might need to do a quick reset on our. Again, I don't know why my extension breaks, but I might fast forward through this part. Okay, I think it's working again. I do need to go to my cargo.toml file and add Itertools equals like that. And let's see if that gets us fixed here. So cool. So now we're at least seeing the data as a string. It doesn't like this data.chars. Let's see. Iterator into iterator is not satisfied. I wonder if we need to pass this as a pointer. That's like my go-to fix for everything. So that actually worked really nicely. And you can see now that we're going to get back num is now a group result of char. I don't totally understand exactly what that looks like, but we want to collect. We can try see if we can do a collect to get it into a vector. And then what we really want is just let's see. So is it not liking that? Let's see. It needs an explicit type. So let's give it, just for the moment, we'll give it vec like that. And let's just try this. Print line. Make this a debug, and in this case, we're going to do key, comma, num. Save. Let's give this a run, and we'll do cargo run. Going to suck in Itertools, and that looks actually really good. So you can see what we get here is what group by is doing for us is it's returning, first it's returning a key of 1, because our key is just our value, and then it's returning, it happens for 3, there's 3 of those in a row, 3 entries. And then it's giving us a key of 3 with 1 of them. Maybe it might help if we just do, let's see, print data here, just so we have it. Run again, make this bigger. I don't have to be that big. So it's taking the 3 1s and grouping them together. Then it's taking the 1 3, grouping it, the 2 2s, etc. So we don't even, and then the key is just the key there. So if we want to get the next entry, what we can really do here is we can say, let's say new pr equals, and we'll call this a string. We'll make a new string. And then down here, we'll say new string dot, and we can do now push str, so to push a new string onto it, and we're going to say num, like that. And if we save that, it doesn't like, oh, because we should actually say let's mute new string. There we go. And now it's unhappy that it's looking, okay, so it's expecting a string and it's finding a vec. So we can just pass this, let's say, to string, if that fixes it. Oh, we don't want a vector here. So what do we really want? We want to know the length of this thing, so we'll do .len like that. And this is no longer a vec, so let's get rid of that. See if this works. It still does, it needs us to collect into something. So we will give it this notation here where we say vec. I don't quite understand why we need to tell it that, but we're just going to follow the instructions the compiler gives us. Let's see what we got here. Push string. It expected a pointer to a string, but it found a string. So we can actually make that a string just by making it into a pointer, because a pointer to a capital S string is a pointer to an str. Again, I find this part very confusing, but we'll go with it. Okay, so now we have num here, and we have this here, and let's see. So we want to push on the num to string, and then the next thing, that's the number of them, and then we also need to push on. So we can do new. I wonder if we can just do it right here. Dot push key and push. Okay, so this push string doesn't return anything, so we actually are going to have to come down here and do a new string push like that. We'll need a semicolon there. And push is when you want to push a single character, which happens to be what we have here in key, so that works out well. And let's print. In fact, let's do this. Let's cut this down here, do this here, and we'll say new string. I don't know if now we're mixing our syntaxes here, but I think that's actually going to work. So you can see that this becomes 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. Okay, so what we really want to do now is we need to loop over this and do this many times. I believe the result they're looking for is 50 times. So I'm going to make this a function just because it'll be cleaner, a little cleaner to do it that way. So let's grab this, come here, and we'll do function, and we'll call it, what's the name of this challenge? Something like look and say, and it's going to take, we'll call it S, which is a string, we're going to return a string. And we're working out of capital strings here because we don't need to save them. They're not part of any objects. We just want the simple, dumb strings. So that's what we're going to try to work with, and it's going to help cause the fewest amount of borrowing issues for us. So let's paste all this in here. We're no longer off. Now we're just going to take this off s.chars. Okay, so we don't need to declare a new string each time. Let's grab this up here, put it here. So our new string is going to be, we're going to loop through all our groups and we're just going to build it up. We don't need to print here. And then we just return new string. Like that. So let's give it a try here. We'll say let res equals look and say data. We'll probably have to do data is a pointer to a string, so we'll say toString like that. And then we will print data one there and res there. So we'll get both of them. Okay, so we took, this is just one iteration, but we took 3 ones, so we have 31. We have 1 3, that looks good. We have 3 2s, that's that right there. 2 1s right there, and 1 3 becomes there. So I think that looks really good. What we're going to do now is we're going to say let res equals data. In fact, we'll do .toString. And then we can say for underscore, because we can do for I in 0.40. We run this 40 times, like this. And it does yell at us a little bit here, because like, hey, you're creating this I that's not getting used. So if we use underscore, it won't yell at us, because we don't actually need the I. And so print 1, and then, what are we going to say here? We're going to say res equals look and say. We're going to have to make res mutable. Off of res. Okay, so we're going to put data into res, and then we're just going to 40 times do it, and we're going to print out part1 equals res. This. And run it. And whoa, they're looking for, what is the actual thing they're looking for? What is the length of the result? 252594. Let's try that. Let's do res dot len. 252594. We nailed it. So let's go check out part 2. Neat, right? You also engineering. Now starting again with the digits, apply the process 50 times. And what is the length of the new result? Okay, that's. I don't know if this is. I don't know if there's some shortcut to 40 and this is supposed to be easier, if it's just one of those days where part 2 is not that hard, but let's see. We'll come down here and we'll say, we'll make this a 50 because I like to always have my things still print out both results. We'll do this. We'll say I equals that. We'll say let mut part1 equals, I guess we'll just make it 0. And now we can say, if I equals 40, part1 equals res.len. Make this one line. Save some space here. And then we call res.looksay again. And once it's done, so now we really have, this is going to be part1, and this is going to be res.len. And since this hangs a little bit when it builds, let's run the release version and run it fast. Of course, now I have to build everything in. 3579328, and we nailed it. So, not too bad today. Hopefully you followed along and enjoyed this. And I'd love it if you post your code. Give me a link to GitHub or something in your comments. Yeah, talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.